I remember I used to think that getting to 100K per month with e-commerce and Facebook ads was almost impossible, or at least really hard to do at the same time while being profitable. Whenever I reached that plateau in sales, I would always think, oh, Facebook ads just doesn't work for this brand, or oh, Facebook ads are not as they used to be, you know? And the truth is, it has never been so simple to scale an e-commerce brand to 100K per month with Facebook ads. Many people like to overcomplicate things because it makes them feel like they're getting more done. But in reality, when you simplify your business, it's when you can scale the most. After taking multiple brands to 100K per month, and not only 100K per month, but multiple six figures per month, I knew it wasn't really Facebook ads that didn't work. It was more that the system that I was trying to amplify back then with Facebook ads did not work. So in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you exactly the system that I used to scale multiple brands to millions per year with paid ads. And yes, getting to 100K per month or more is much simpler than you think. And this system, the system that I'm about to show you, applies to all the niches, all the types of brands out there that are in the e-commerce space. Trust me, I've tested this with multiple brands already with different industries, and it has worked 100% of the time. One of them was at 20K per month when they started using the system. And in the same year, they went from 20K to 350K per month while using this system. Now, this video is not for you if you think this is gonna be the next hack you find on the internet, or if you think this is gonna be super fast and easy, or even if you think this is gonna give you results next week or even next month. This takes work and this is going to take time, but if you have an e-commerce brand, this can also change your life. And at the same time, this video is not for you if you think that getting to 100K per month is absolutely impossible. There are a lot of people out there that are working a lot less than you and are making a lot more than you. So you need to have the mindset that this is actually possible and this can be a reality for you. Now, this works best if you're at least at a point where you're selling 10 to 15K per month in your e-commerce brand, because that is an indicator that there's an actual demand for your products. Now, real quick, if you don't know who I am, I'm Miguel. I'm the founder of Point Guard Media, where we help e-commerce brands scale to multiple seven figures with paid ads and the right e-commerce strategies. Okay, so this is the system that has grown multiple brands to not only 100K per month, but even, multiple six figures per month. So it starts with the media buying. Now, the media buying is much simpler than what people usually complicate it. This is going to be a one campaign per country setup, okay? And in your one campaign setup, you wanna only have a purchase objective and you wanna have a broad targeting, right? So on your ad sets, you're not using lookalike, you're not using interests, and you're basically letting the machine who has all the data in the world decide what customer journeys to build on a personalized way and where to put the money, basically. So why is that important? The reason why it's important is because you need to have predictable and stable traffic. If you have this one campaign setup, you're gonna have very stable traffic, you're gonna have very predictable results. So if you've ever had your business have like really high weeks and then really low weeks in sales and in results, it's probably because you don't have stable traffic. So in this part of the system, this is where we make sure that your traffic is stable. Now, having stability and predictability in your traffic is going to allow you to do the rest of the system. So that's why media buying is number one. It is one of the most important. And usually, if you're having multiple campaigns, it's going to take around 2 to 3 weeks to go from multiple campaigns to one campaign per country. So that is step number one. Then we go into step number two, which is an extensive audit. Now, why is this so important? This is very important because it will tell you exactly where the bottleneck is. So why do we want to know the bottleneck? Because the bottleneck is what is limiting your brand to go to the next level. So if you solve your bottleneck, you are going to see an incremental lift, not only in profitability, but also in total sales. 90% of the brands out there doing e-commerce have no idea where the bottleneck is. So in the audit, here's where we go into your numbers, your profitability, your unit economics, and we deeply understand not only on the quantitative side of things, but also on the qualitative side of things, where the bottleneck is. We analyze your strengths, your weaknesses, and we formulate a plan. So by understanding the bottleneck, you will be able to find the areas where you should be focusing and what actions will lead to the maximum amount of growth for your brand. Super important. Step number 2. Then we go into the advanced market research. So why is market research necessary and actually so important? Because marketing is more about listening than it is about talking, okay? So when you're scaling a business to 100K per month, it requires you to talk to the right people about the right thing, in the right time, in the right way. And the only way you're gonna be able to achieve that is by having complete clarity to who you're talking to, what is the purpose of your products and your solutions in their lives, how these people talk, and what they like to consume on social media. So all that, you're gonna get it on the advanced market research. It is super important that you don't skip this step, as this is gonna dictate the whole customer journey you built for your brand. So if you don't do this, your marketing will not be effective. Then we go to step number 4, high impact tests. Again, my personal favorite. The majority of e-commerce brands out there that scale to 100K per month usually do just a handful of things successfully. This is what we call high impact tests. It's those experiments that move the needle the most by solving the existing bottleneck in your brand. So this is basically, after doing the audit, you create a plan and you're gonna create a list of things that you think are gonna solve that bottleneck. And you're gonna create a plan on how you're gonna execute them, how you're gonna measure them. Really important. A lot of people don't even measure the tests. Once you are able to measure them, and then you are able to learn from them. So week after week, you become smarter, you become a much more intelligent brand as a whole. Maybe you're just one person right now, maybe you're 2 people. You need to build this backlog of experiments, backlog of conclusions, so that you become smarter over time. Usually they're not really sophisticated experiments, but have the most amount of impact and the most amount of leverage. These experiments give you clarity on what you should focus on and prioritize. To make this easier, I created the e-commerce lever of growth. I call it the EGL method. So it stands for e-commerce growth lever. So this is one of the most fundamental things ever in e-commerce. This is what I based all the brands I've scaled to 100K per month, 300K per month, 700K per month, a million per month. This is the base of all those success stories, okay? As you can see here, the arrow width basically represents the level of effort you need to push to generate the same result. So for example, if you were to only focus on the content, visuals, and formats. Now, visuals and formats, I don't mean ads. I mean the actual visual, how it looks on ads, landing pages, emails, add to cart, checkout, whatever it is, right? Throughout the whole customer journey, how it actually looks, the visuals, the formats. If you were only to focus on that section of your business, you would have to put a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of time to be able to scale, because it doesn't really have too much leverage. What we want throughout time is to figure out ways to, with less effort, do more things. Let's move to the second one, messaging. With not a lot of effort, not a lot of money, just a little bit of research, you can nail your messaging and have a lot better results than if you were just focusing on content, visuals, and formats. So with less effort, you're able to have more results if you talk to the right people about the right thing, about the right time, in the right time. So Then we go into the value-based offers. To me, this is one of my favorites. With almost no effort, you can completely change a business. Value-based offers has been the backbone of the brands I've scaled in the past. And the reason why this is so important is because sometimes it's really just changing the name of the offer. Sometimes it's just changing the price of the offer. Sometimes it's just doing a bundle that allows you to spend more to acquire a customer because you were able to increase the average order value, right? And you're shipping less items per the same amount of money made on total sales. So that means your cost of goods sold is also less. So with value-based offers, you can completely change a business with very little effort. That's why it has such a narrow arrow, because almost nothing required to do it, a lot of results. Now, then we have the business model. Again, one of my favorites. The business model, sometimes it takes a little bit more effort, but to me, the business model is basically the way you capture, deliver, and create value. If you change one of these, you're essentially changing the business model. So in a way, value-based offers is also part of the business model, right? Only one. So if you were to change the three of them, then you're changing the business model and you're probably going to see a dramatic change in your business. Now, when you change one of these three, deliver, create, capture value, you're probably going to see a very big impact. Let's say that I was to change the positioning of my brand. That is you're changing the way you are creating value, maybe. Let's say you're selling a dress, right? A dress can be positioned in multiple scenarios, right? It can be something that makes you feel more sexy to women, maybe something that makes them feel younger, maybe something that makes them feel more skinny, whatever it is. There are different types of value that you can create with a dress. If you change the way you do that, you're essentially changing your business model. If you adjust all your marketing, all your offers towards the way you deliver value, the way you capture value, the way you create the value, then you're essentially changing the business model. You change the business model, you have a lot of leverage. With somewhat little effort, you are able to have a lot of results. And again, the last one is brand. So this to me is like reputation. Once you build a brand, it takes a lot of effort to build a brand, but once you did it, you basically have all the leverage in the world, right? Like it's the most impactful by far. Whatever your product is, if there's a celebrity in that space, in that niche, that creates the same product you're selling right now with the same price, that person's going to beat you because they have brand. This is the highest impact activity. So essentially what we do in the high impact tests, we go to this lever and we go from left to right. Of course, we skip brand because this is a constant ongoing effort that you're always doing, and you should, because that way you have the ultimate leverage. But we make sure that we go from business model to value-based offers to messaging to content visuals and formats. Most people, it's surprising to me, but most people go the other way around. They go, they find a fancy format on YouTube or on Instagram, on Twitter, and yeah, they essentially start from content visuals and formats. They try to make it work with the least leveraged activity, and then they go into messaging, then they go into offers, and then they go into business models. That is the reverse way. You're going to be putting a lot of effort for very few results. So you don't want to waste your time and effort. So once we go to step number 5, this is, the one that people actually focus on. I see a lot of people actually focusing on this. And what is the creative strategy flywheel? This is the system that allows you to create the right amount of creatives that solve the creative's bottleneck in your business. With this system, you will be able to seamlessly create and distribute the content necessary to create a scalable and profitable customer journeys that take your brand to 6 figures per month. It's a system that allows you to talk to the right people about the right thing at the right time in the right way by creating high quality content for your brand. So again, this system is made so that content creation becomes more seamless. For a lot of you right now, you're putting a lot of effort into something that yields no results. And that hurts, that's a pain, and a lot of people have it. But you need a system that helps you create the right amount and the right quality of creatives. And it's a lot simpler than a lot of people think. At the end of the day, this is going to be the fuel to the engine you build with the system. So super, super important. This is no doubt one of the things that once you're scaling, you're going to need to do more of so that it can maintain that scalability at a profitable rate. Again, with a system in place, it becomes a lot simpler. Then we go into step number 6, which is testing retros and a focus. So once you start doing tests every single week, week by week, you're going to start to see results, different results. You become smarter. And as you attempt to break that bottleneck, as you attempt to solve that bottleneck in your business, you're going to have a lot of successful tests and you're going to have a lot of failed tests. And it's really important that you learn. If you don't learn, you're basically going to maintain that plateau you're in right now, and you're not going to understand what is going on in your business. So you really need a system that lets you have the right documentation of the observations, the hypotheses you had in the past, the conclusions with metrics. And that way your new experiments are a lot more intelligent and they have a way higher probability of becoming a success. The more you learn, the higher the likelihood of your experiments being successful. When I scaled brands, let's say one of the brands I used to work with had already gone to 100K per month, and we wanted to go to 500,000. So we started doing a lot of high impact tests. And once we started documenting the experiments, once we started measuring all the experiments, and on the backlog, we had a lot of the learnings, our new experiments became a lot smarter. And at the end of the day, we ended up making more than 500,000 in a month. And on the lowest month, on the lowest season months, we were making 300K. So we tripled the business on the low seasons because our experiments were a lot more successful. Why were they successful? Because we were learning from them, even from the failures. And then the last one, this is the most fun. When things are working, when you found a lot of high impact tests that are winners, you just want to amplify your business. You just want to scale. So we have a scaling strategy in SOP step, which is the final step, which is when you've created an incremental lift, you want to make sure you're maximizing that lift that you created. You know, I sometimes see brands that they have already created an incremental lift, but they're just too scared of increasing the budget. They don't know how to increase the budget. They don't have a system to scale their brand at a profitable rate and make sure it's being profitable. Make sure that they're doing it at a healthy way so that you don't trump your whole business. You don't sell out. You don't scale and kill all your profitability. So then at the end, the last step is just to do the last 4 steps on an ongoing basis. And this is like a sport. This is where you just need to practice to become better. The more you practice the high impact tests, the better you become. The more you practice creatives, the better you become. The more formats you test, the more messaging angles you test, the more you combine your hypothesis, try to test this, test that, learn from it. You just become smarter, you just become better. And the more you do it in an organized way, with a system in place, the better you become. And I've seen it with multiple brands already. As we start executing the system, by maintaining organization, being patient, doing one thing at a time, measuring things in a scientific way, almost every test becomes successful because you already know so much about your business. You have so much clarity on to who you're talking to, why they buy, what's valuable, what happens when you put this scene on this creative, what happens when you use this hook, what happens when you use these words. All this is practice. And once you start doing this on a recurring basis, and this doesn't really take that long, you start to get real results. And then you're already at 100K per month. It's not that complex. As you can see here, it's just couple steps done correctly with the right system. And if you just do that, you're going to be in 100K per month in no time. There's no silver bullet. There's no hack. There's no shortcut. It is very simple, very fundamental, and it works 100% of the time. To this date, all the brands that have worked with me in this system have scaled. And I'm not talking about scaling to 50K per month. I'm not talking 60K per month. I'm talking all the brands right now are making more than $1 million per year. And they have consistent results, 300K, 500K, 800K. This works. And you just have to do it. It's that simple. Now, if you think your brand is in a position to scale at the moment, that means your brand has already at least $10,000 to $15,000 in sales every single month. And you know this is a possibility to get to 100K per month. And you also are willing to put in the work. So have patience, practice, as I said in the system. I'm going to leave a link in the description so that you can schedule a call with us. And we're going to be looking at your business to see if we're a good fit, to see if we can essentially implement this system into your brand so that you can be on your way to making 100K per month every single month. If that sounds like you, make sure you schedule a call with me. And yeah, hopefully you are on your way to a brand that makes over 100K per month.